And we were having a conversation about Highway Africa. Now, although the conference has ended, discussions from Highway Africa, they're still continuing. And the theme for this year was Speaking Truth to Power, Media Politics and Accountability. The event saw journalists, civil society and academics deliberating on African media's role in holding political authority accountable. Locally, one of the most topical issues for journalists is the Protection of State Information Bill. And to discuss this further, we are joined in studio by Penyo Botale, who is a director at the Freedom of Expression Institute. Penyo, thank you for staying on, and we do appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
You ended off basically giving us your personal views on the Protection of State Information Bill, basically saying that there are still a lot of gaps, there is still a lot that needs to be changed so that we still continue to enjoy the media freedom that we do have here in the country. If we look at South Africa's media landscape over the last couple of years, how has it changed? If we have to do an analysis.
Well, I think South Africa started off on a very, very promising footing. You would remember that post-94, South Africa was one of those progressive countries, adoption of a progressive constitution, adoption of access to information law, leading the Windhoek Declaration that we know in the media sphere as being one of those campaigns that has really made a mark on the media fraternity in the region. So I think there was a lot of promise at the beginning, but you see that there has been sort of a regression over the years with the coming into play of laws such as the Protection of State Information, the National Key Point Act, and other laws that are not so friendly to free expression and freedom of the press. Yeah. And I think that's what you see on the press index of 2013, that for the first time South Africa is not in the top 50 countries in the world. South Africa is now 52nd. So that these are the worrying trends that I think, as we have this conversation about whether the media can play its role as a watchdog, can hold those who hold political office accountable, we need to also have this broader conversation as to whether indeed we are, moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, let's just speak hypothetically. Let's look at the future of the media and reporting in South Africa. And let's just say that the Protection of State Information Bill is not changed in any way, and it is passed in its current form. It goes forward. What does the landscape look like going forward in South Africa?
Well, I think the worrying thing is that, as I've already said, there is a movement towards, more inclination towards secrecy. And as we have said in the past as the Freedom of Expression Institute, secrecy is corrosive. And when secrecy is at play, things like accountability and transparency fly out of the way. Yeah. And with as I said, protection of state information does not provide adequate protection for whistleblowers. It still has, amazing long sentences that can be placed on journalists and whistleblowers. And ideally, you would have a law like this applying only on issues of national security, and national security narrowly defined, so as not to allow it to now apply to everything. So in its current state, it can be applied to other aspects of state machinery, which is now also going to contribute to the whole affairs of state secrecy, which is not good for a democracy.
No, looking to the future, things do need to change. We don't need that bill in its current form to be passed, just muzzling the media, if you want to call it that way, because that's not the way to go forward. It's almost going backwards, isn't it?
Yes, I think that's what we have made as a plea to the president, that perhaps he should refer it to the Constitutional Court so that its constitutionality can be tested, and if it passes the constitutionality test, then perhaps as a nation would have had the benefit of the doubt as to whether this is the way we want to go as a nation.
All right, Penyo, thank you for staying on. Thank you for your views. Penyo Botale, the director of the Freedom of Expression Institute, talking to us about media freedom, talking to us about Highway Africa that's just come to an end, but many issues still very much so topical.